Okay, we're getting ready to chop up this 1984 Sportster. We're going to convert it to a 216 tire with a hardtail. We're going to document the process. We get tons and tons of questions over the phone about what it takes to install a hardtail, so we're going to walk you through that nitty-gritty, step by step. Okay, we just pulled one of our real basic kits off the shelf to convert an 82 to 03 XL/Sportster to a 200, and I'm just going to walk through the various parts, what they are, what you need them, why you need them. This time around we're just going to do a generic hardtail that we get from one of our suppliers. We also build custom hardtails, but in a lot of cases, if a guy is set a generic standard hardtail, it's a lot cheaper than us building something custom. We typically build them custom because somebody wants something wider. This one will do up to a 200. Somebody wants one longer. This one's a 2-inch stretch. Somebody wants a drop seat. A couple things that for sure you're going to need. Your stock Sportster adjusters won't work. Those are the type that go inside the swing arm, inside the rectangle, and these adjust with a slug, a stud, a jam nut, and a collar like this. You'll also need a longer axle because of the width of the hardtail, and also the extra width that the adjuster collars add. This type of axle is has a nut on each end. That adds some flexibility. It makes it easier to cut them shorter if they're a little long. The other thing, though, with that you have to be careful of, the factory axle has the castle nut and pin design, which makes it virtually impossible for the nut to come off. In this case, since you got two nuts, you've got twice the chance of a nut coming off on you, and anybody who's ever had an axle come out will tell you that that could be disastrous. So at a minimum, you're going to want to clean the threads extremely well with acetone and use red Loctite on the threads at an absolute minimum. To be really sure, I would clean the threads, red Loctite, and use a locking washer, or what they call a split. This, what just dropped off, I had that setting on there. That's a seat stanchion for the springs. And you may need to open them up just a little bit. They come pre-radius for 1-inch tube. These hardtails are 1.25 inches. So we open them up a little bit on our end mill, but it's nothing you couldn't easily do with your grinder and a flap wheel at home, so that they sit right on there. That basically makes a perch for the spring. The way this hardtail attaches is with 4 bolts, the same 4 bolts that attach the motor at the back rear lower. You just take the nuts off of that. That's how it attaches, which is nice. It lines up the hardtail, so you don't necessarily need a jig to install. This hardtail comes with some rings to make welding at the seat post area easier. We just cut, this is just our thing, we cut those out, cut a little channel, and use a bolt style slug to line things up and give us these will come out into the original frame, gives us a real heavy surface to weld to, as well as ensuring alignment tube to tube from this into the stock frame. This is what the stock brake caliper will rest on. The stock brake caliper has a channel in it. It wraps around the axle. All you need is just a perch to keep that brake caliper bracket from rotating forward when the brakes are applied. It's adjustable, fore and aft. What you want to do is get that in right in so there's maximum contact with that brake caliper bracket. Also, don't be afraid if you need to, if it needs to come in quite a bit, say for a stock width wheel and hub, don't be afraid to spacer between here and here, because you want maximum overlap so that you have maximum chance of that brake caliper not being. This is a 1-inch offset sprocket, chain sprocket for the iron head we're going to be working on. These are available through our website and also in our kits. I'm pretty sure we're still the only place you can get the 1-inch offset for iron heads. This is a longer chain kit. Reason this is handy is, like I said, this does add a couple inches of stretch to the stock wheelbase from the seat post back, so you will need more length in your drivetrain. These are just some round, rigid fender struts that we sell. We'll drill these tabs out to 3/8, and these will bolt right here. Then we'll add some slugs up here so that we've got an attachment point for the fender that we bought. Big T, if you want to zoom in on some of this smaller stuff, this is our battery tray mount kit. It comes with some rubber ISOs, some washers, some tabs, and some nylocks. This is real handy. You'll see us use this in subsequent videos, but this is just a real handy way to rubber mount your battery tray. This is our battery tray kit. Later on I'll weld that. It adapts itself to different battery sizes. Later on you'll see me weld that to the battery size that's in an 84 iron head. This is our seat kit. This is the nose bracket. This part here will get sandblasted so we get that zinc coating off of it for welding. It just gives you a nose pivot point for the. This is just some 3-inch torsion or hairpin style springs. You can see what they look like once they're bolted on. We offer a choice of these. We've got the tapered barrel style springs. We've got mini shock kits. Pretty much any way you want to suspend your seat, we can build that into the kit for you. By the way, all of our kits are available a la carte, meaning anything you want to take out, anything you want to add in is no problem. We don't really have any standard kits. We've rarely ever have anybody buy just the exact kit the way we sell it. So that's no problem. We can quote those either over the phone, over email, through eBay, however you guys want to do it. This is a 200, these are nicely radius. This is a 9-inch fender for the 200 wheel and tire we're going to be using. This is a 216 tire and 5.5 16 rim combination. Typically in our kits, if you order both the wheel and the tire from us, we go ahead and mount and balance it for you. Only reason we wouldn't probably is if somebody requested they wanted to do that work themselves or have a friend do it or whatever. We also, for all the 200 kits, we also offer it in an 18-inch rim with either a 180 or a 200 tire, or we can do the 16-inch rim with either 180 or 200 tire. So you have flexibility there as well. If you look, I'm not sure if you can see that on the camera, but if you look, you'll see that there's two flanges. One sticks out further than the other one. The one that sticks out further is your drive side flange. That's where in this case, an iron head which is chain driven. That's where in this case, an iron head which is chain driven. That's where your drive sprocket will go. So this will be on the right side on a Sportster. This is where your brake rotor goes. So that'll be on the left side on a Sportster. This particular hardtail does have, this is an extremely important point, it does have offset built into it to the right or the drive side. You can even see the kink in the leg. You can see this leg is more or less straight. You can see the kink in the leg. What that does is it gives you more room on the drive side for the extra 1 inch of offset that you need to clear that bigger 200 rear tire. So when you're doing this at home, make absolutely sure that you line up the wheel and the tire to the center of the frame up here, the stock frame, the backbone up here. Do not try to center it between here. That'll throw you way off because there's offset built in here, so if you center it between here, it will throw your wheel and tire off center quite a bit. This piece here is what we call a DIY axle spacer, a do-it-yourself axle spacer tube. It has the proper inside diameter of 3/4 for this axle. I recommend this a lot, and this is a really popular item because what it allows you to do, once you get everything mocked up and centered, you can cut your own spacers at home and not have to order them later. So that while you're taking the weekend to mock all this up, you can go right ahead, throw spacers on it once you get them cut, and you have a roller at the end of it. In the next video, we're going to start tearing the base bike down, the victim bike, the donor bike, and we'll go from there.